Hello and welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb, and today we head to the beautiful country of Taiwan and the capital city Taipei to meet Zach Fan, who's the MC for XTERRA Taiwan. Hi Zach, how are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm great, and thanks for inviting me to this great show.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you, and I absolutely love your city. I was in Taipei a few years back for Bike Asia, which some people may know as one of the biggest bike exhibitions in the world. Taiwan is a huge manufacturer of bicycles and bicycle components, and it was just a wonderful experience for me. The people were so friendly everywhere around the city. When you were on the trains, walking around, so helpful. The city was so spotlessly clean. It was just a wonderful experience. So it's so great to come here and obviously virtually and meet you. And I'd love to start by giving the opportunity to tell us a little bit of your own story, the Zach story, please.
Sure, and I promise that Taiwan is the best place for travel. And I live in Taipei, which is I born up in Taipei, and I have a sport event MC for 5 years, and now I am the MC of XTERRA Taiwan and XTERRA China. And I also host for some other sport events like basketball games, baseball games, which are the most popular sports in Taiwan. And before that, I was graduate from National Taiwan Sport University with a degree in leisure industry management. So I know exactly what I want to do is that about sport. And after graduation, I worked for a sport management company around 3 years. And we have hosted a lot of events, including triathlon and marathon. And this work brings me much experience and gave me some opportunities to try being an MC in event. So I got some chance in 2017, Tour de Taiwan, and 2018 in Challenge Taiwan, which is the biggest triathlon race in Taiwan. And I got a chance to be an MC. And to 2018, when Xterra first come into Taiwan, they invite me to be an MC for the race. And since that time, I started a wonderful journey. We went to Kending, the southeast place in Taiwan, and it's beautiful for Xterra Taiwan race. And we even went to Kunming for the Xterra China, and we met a lot of great people around the world and our global team and incredible athletes, staff, and friends. Just like Janet just say, it's an extra family. So very lucky I am.
That's wonderful. It's a great story. And as you said, the Taiwanese people love their sport from baseball to football to cycling to all sorts of things. And you were just saying that at the weekend you were out hosting a basketball event, a three-on-three basketball event. And you were saying that, in many ways, Taiwan has handled the pandemic really well. I know you were one of the first countries to come back with live sport with your baseball competition. But tell us what's life like a little bit now in Taiwan? What happens on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. I know it's still a tough situation in some parts of the world, but in Taiwan, we're controlling well right now, and our daily life is almost back to normal. We can running outside, we can shopping outside, as and just you say the baseball game. We have our baseball league, and we become the first pro organizations to open in this season in April. We opened the baseball game in April, and we allowing fans in May. So it's very early and earlier than the major league. So we right now we have several marathon race are being held in weekends. So it's almost back to the normal. And but yeah, we still have to wearing a mask, and we still have to keep the social distance. But we're all good right now.
It sounds fantastic. So you mentioned marathon races. We spoke that there won't be an Xterra event until next year, but the marathon races that have been happening, I'm interested. What kind of numbers are participating in those? How is the social distancing being managed? Is it thousands of people, tens of thousands of people? Are they having to run with masks? I think people all over the world, everyone's hanging on to this. What can we learn from other parts of the world? We're desperate for our events to happen. So can you tell us a little bit about those races that have been happening, please?
Yeah, right now we have some marathon held in weekend on weekend. So yeah, but we still have to, if you're not racing, you have to wear a mask or you have to keep the distance. But when the race started, we just take up the mask and we can go, and just like the normal we do. Yeah, I think it's just because the point is that we do some proactive measures before that. When in the March and in April, I think the Taiwan government do some proactive measures that cost. Right now we can have this marathon race, like the border control very early, and we ramp up production of masks and community transmission prevention. We do some our government do some policy very early, so that cause we can have the race, we can have the everything right now. Is just because the early policy, I think.
Yeah. And so how many participants in those events? And are they road marathons in the cities or are they trail events
Uh,
outside of the cities? Is it hundreds of people or thousands of people participating?
yeah, 1,000 people. I think yeah, it have the some race like 1,000 people because uh, Taiwan is not it's a like we're a small country. We don't have a lot of population, but thousands participants. Yeah, the race like maybe every weekends we have thousands participants, and like the biggest marathon race in Taiwan, which is Taipei Marathon, will be held in December. Yeah, were held in December, and maybe we got 10,000 participants.
Okay. And so when in those races, people are starting, are they wave starts? Is there quite a lot of social distancing within the events? Or because COVID-19's been controlled so much, is it just a normal type of event?
Oh, I believed it's just like normal before, but we still have to, you have to write down your information, your phone number, or where you have been. Have you ever been over abroad out of Taiwan, or and your name, your phone number. If there's something happened, we have to contact with you. That's the point, and we still have to we just do our best to keep the distance, but in a marathon race it's still gonna be close with other people. So just we just do our best, but still we're gonna keep a little bit distance with other participants.
Yeah, wow, that must be so wonderful. I'm sure there's many people around the world that are very envious of that situation. And then I guess, moving on to some of the challenges that have led up to that. Obviously, the government's done a great job. There were some times when there was some degree of control. What have you found that have been the biggest challenges? I guess I think we were talking is that you found, you missed being involved in the events. You love, bringing people over the finish line. But during the early parts of the pandemic, when you had more of a lockdown, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Yeah, the biggest challenge, if for me, like between February to June, there's almost no events on weekend. Yeah, we start the event like marathon or basketball game, like start from maybe July or June. But before that, we don't have any events on weekend, and which means as an MC, I did not have any work to do. So it's definitely a big challenge to me, but it's also an opportunity to me, so I can have more time to stay at home and stay with my family and my friends and my wife. Yeah, because and take the time I can do some studying. Yeah, it's a tough time, but in other way, I think the after the epidemic is over, I will not have so much rest time for me in the short term. So yeah, it's a good chance, good opportunity for me to take a bit rest and stay with my family. And yeah, sure, I can do some studying because as an MC, studying is to me. So I can study like, yeah, I love in Japanese, so I take some study on
Okay.
Japanese. Yeah, maybe they can be helpful to my career. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you're learning Japanese so you can do some Japanese commentary. I'm guessing that you probably have some Japanese participants that come and compete in your event, so you have the opportunity to welcome them over the finish line in Japanese. Is that kind of part of the motivation?
Yeah, that is what I want to do, and I'm just trying to studying. Yeah, it's for me a big challenge, but I try my best. And another way for XTERRA Taiwan, it's also a big challenge, right? Because yeah, XTERRA Taiwan is a we are a race we are a race brand before, yeah, but we decide to cancel the XTERRA Asia Pacific race in Taiwan. Is a heartbreaking decision to us, and we've been prepared a year for the race. So, but we have no choice at that time. And the biggest challenge is just of what I say is we used to be a race brand, but without race, what else we have? That's a big challenge for us. So during the epidemic, we have been trying a lot of new possibilities. We open our online shop to try to make some amazing products, clothes, and we strengthened the connection with the local and found more stories. The most inspiring thing is that we start to work with Taiwan's Thousand Miles Trail Association,
Yeah.
and in their mission to build a maintain and 1,000 miles of trails to connect all of Taiwan. And they have great ideas. And through the cooperation, we can be more different possibilities.
That's wonderful. And you've got a virtual event that's happening at the moment, haven't you, with raising funds for the 1,000 Mile Trail?
Yeah, also it's our global XTERRA. We held the virtual race and the first step in Taiwan, right? Called XTERRA J Mountain. J Mountain is the highest mountain in Taiwan. And yeah, the virtual race, I think have around 40 countries, the people and joining us. And also we have the charitable partner, that is the TMI, the Taiwan Thousand Miles Trail Association, and we will have some donations to them. Yeah, and we hope to cooperation with them, and we can build the beautiful trail in Taiwan.
What a wonderful story. That's great. I always like to speak about leadership, and obviously you have a leadership role of sorts there, standing on the finish line, leading people across the line, inspiring them. I'd love to hear from you. You know, what inspires you from a leadership perspective? Have you had any great leaders who you followed? Do you have any leadership tips for people that are watching that you might like to share, please, Zach?
Sure, and but actually, I'm not a leader in my team, but I still got something to share because our leader of XTR Taiwan team, she's probably the best leader in the world I've seen. Right? She's very good boss. Yeah, it's Charlie, and I think there's two key points to be a good leader and in leadership. That is trust and communication. I believe if you trust your team, then your team will trust you. And a leader cannot lead if his follower do not trust him, right? If a team cannot trust the leader, then the team is gonna lose. So I believe the trust is the most important things in leadership. And uh, the second thing is communication, because communication is a core leadership function, and effective communication and effective leadership are closely intertwined. And the most important in communication, what I think is you have to be honest. And the second thing is I think communication, a big part of communication actually is listening. You have to listening your team. If you are a leader, you have to listen to your team. Yeah, if you listen well, you get a clear understanding of another's perspective and knowledge. Yeah, so I think trust and communication is the big part of the leadership.
Fantastic, and no more important time to communicate than during COVID, when we don't have the opportunity to so often be face to face with people. So some great tips there. Thank you. And then I love to finish with something inspirational. I'm sure you've seen so many inspiring things on the finish line. I'm sure you've inspired so many people to cross the finish line when they, you know, you see those stories of people getting almost there and wanting to stop and walk and give up. But tell us something that's inspiring, if you wouldn't mind, to finish us up with, please, Zach.
Sure. I believe that as an MC, we have the ability to inspire people, right? So, as an MC in a triathlon race, important work is to welcome athletes at the finish area by our voice. And they usually pass the finish line with a lot of emotions or movement, special movement, like crying, like shouting, even lie down on the finish line. And once I've heard from an athlete, he told me that when I was near the finish line, I almost couldn't make it anymore. But I heard your voice, and your voice inspired me and gave me more energy to run to the finish. And when I heard about that, what he said, I was motivated because what I thought is everyone in the event is valuable, no matter what position you are, just try to do your best. So this makes me more confident in myself and love my job more. I hope my voice can give more people strength. That's why I become an MC, and I hope I can give everybody power to finish the race.
Wonderful, and I think it's something that I find quite often events will overlook is the importance of the announcer. It sometimes can be an afterthought, but that announcer can create such an amazing final experience. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your time. It's been wonderful to speak to you. I really hope that it's not too long before I get back to your beautiful country, and this time get way beyond Taiwan, because there's so much beautiful cycling here. I hear, and would love to go and explore it. But thank you so much. Really
Thank you,
great to
Chris.
speak to
Thank
you. All the
you.
best. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.